Season 3, Episode 5, Risk is Fragility, Reapplied to Investing. When most people hear the word risk, they think of volatility, prices going up and down, markets swinging, charts that make the stomach tighten. Volatility is visible, it's noisy, it demands attention. But volatility is not the kind of risk that ends financial lives. The risk that matters most, especially once investing begins to support life, is fragility. Fragility is not about movement. It's about breakage. A fragile system is one that works only under favorable conditions, one that cannot absorb stress, one that fails when timing turns against it. Volatility can be uncomfortable. Fragility can be permanent. And confusing the two leads people to seek comfort in the wrong places. Early in life, volatility feels like risk because nothing depends on the portfolio yet. Income from work still carries the load. Time smooths mistakes. Drawdowns are theoretical. At that stage, volatility is mostly psychological. But as investing begins to matter, to cover things, the nature of risk changes. Now the question is no longer, how much does this move? It becomes, what happens if this stops working when I need it? That's fragility. Fragility shows up quietly. It lives in concentration leverage, dependency on timing, dependency on constant market access, dependency on favorable narratives. A system can look calm on the surface and still be fragile underneath. Smooth returns can hide structural weakness. Steady income can mask dependency. Familiar assets can create false confidence. This is why volatility is often a distraction. A volatile asset that can bend without breaking may be safer than a smooth one that cannot absorb shock. Volatility tests nerves. Fragility tests survival. And when income is involved, when the portfolio is doing real work, fragility matters far more. Think in terms of bending versus breaking. What happens if markets are down for years, not months? What happens if income dries up temporarily? What happens if correlations rise together? What happens if access is restricted at the wrong time? Fragile systems answer these questions poorly. Robust systems answer them calmly. This is why safety is often mispriced. People reach for smooth charts, stable payouts, reassuring labels, but safety is not how something looks in good times. Safety is how it behaves under strain. Anything that requires constant refinancing, uninterrupted distributions, permanent growth, precise timing is more fragile than it appears. As investing shifts from participation to provision, tolerance for fragility shrinks. You don't need heroics. You don't need brilliance. You need resilience. Systems that can absorb drawdowns, reduce forced decisions, continue functioning when conditions are bad. Those systems don't feel exciting. They feel boring. They feel slow. They also survive. This episode isn't asking you to fear risk. It's asking you to rename it correctly. Risk is not volatility. Risk is dependence on conditions you don't control. Once you see that, a lot of behavior changes naturally. You stop chasing smoothness. You stop fearing movement. You start designing for endurance. Season 3 is slowly shifting the lens. From returns to durability. From volatility to fragility. From performance to survival. Because once investing begins to matter, to actually carry life, the only failure that counts is breakage.